Welcome to Freedive Live, episode number 13 with Ted Hardy. So I am the founder of Immersion Freediving as well as freedivingsafety.com. If you had not visited freedivingsafety.com, you definitely should. It's a free course, goes over the risks of the sport, goes over the truth about blackout. I get into the fatality numbers. I don't sugarcoat anything. I'm not known for that. You're going to learn how to tell if you're overweighted, which is a serious problem among beginning freediver and spearfishermen. You're going to learn if you are breathing in such a way that would increase your risk of a blackout, which is obviously no good. You're going to learn how to minimize your risk of having a problem. But most importantly, you're going to learn if your buddy were to come up from a dive, have a loss of motor control and blackout, do you know what to do? Right? I'm going to show you, right? So I've got footage in the pool. I'm actually going through the rescues, so you can learn basically how to take care of all that sort of stuff, right? So the idea is it's free, right? Anyone can access it. And if that is not enough to make you interested in visiting freedivingsafety.com, because I know from experience, after 10 years of working in this industry, learning how to not kill yourself in safety, I know, is boring. So people really don't care about that. So I've got partners. I got 9 companies that sponsor freedivingsafety.com. And if you go to the website and you pass the quiz at the end, you're gonna get an email with discounts from 9 of the biggest names in the sport. So if it's whether to save your buddy, save yourself, or save some money, there's no reason not to visit freedivingsafety.com. Hey, for those that are tuning in, do me a favor and just let me know that you are here so I can see that the chat is working. As always, I'm doing and playing with some new things. So let me know where you're from, and I'm interested in what is the maximum depth you've been diving to. Excellent, thank you, Larry. Okay, so I can see. All right, see, Stephen, I'm learning slowly. This whole thing is a little beyond my technological comfort level. I'm trying not to be stressed, but for the last 50 minutes, my camera didn't work, and I was literally typing in the thing that I was canceling the show for tonight because I couldn't get the camera work, and the camera worked like 2 minutes before the show. What's up, Jeremy? 147. Oh, very cool. So there's Jeremy Gamble, owner of Spearing Magazine. He's in here. If you guys are spear fishermen and you are not subscribed to Spearing Magazine, I definitely check it out. Largest spearfishing magazine in the world. And for all of you that are tuned in here for all this freediving information, for me, I say this all the time. 85%, 90% of the stuff that I talk about on this show, I've written articles about in Spearing Magazine, right? I've been writing articles for Jeremy since 2013. I think I lost count. I think it's 25 articles that I've written for him, right? And so these are good articles. They aren't just like some random Facebook post. If it's going to get printed in a magazine, I'm going to make sure it's good. So not only do you get up to date on the spearfishing stuff, right? The new gear and all the trips, all that, you're also going to get the information from me and you get it before anyone else. So definitely, if you're a spearfisherman, you should check out Spearing Magazine. Yes, I'm giving a talk on the Blue Wild. I'm doing that on Sunday around 3 o'clock. I can't remember if it's 2:30 or 3:30, but I know 3 o'clock. Since I have to be there around 3 o'clock. I'll be doing it on breath hold secrets. So I'll be for sure at the show. I'm excited. One thing I'm doing at the Blue Wild, so for years I've wanted to do this, but I never could, is all of the people that go in the show, well, let's say 500 people on Friday or Saturday, 500 people on Sunday are going to get these awesome, reusable, really nice, high quality bags that have the Freediving Safety logo on both sides of it. So I'm really excited. It says visit freedivingsafety.com. And then inside I've got to have my immersion koozies, and I've got some postcards about all the different courses that I have. And then all the other sponsors are putting stuff in. So I'm going to be stuffing bags Thursday afternoon at the Fort Lauderdale Convention Center. And I need help because I had never really thought, I'm like, 1,000 bags, I'll just stuff them. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'll just stuff them at the house. Then I started thinking about where the hell am I going to put 1,000 bags on the floor? And then I've got all this stuff to put in them. So then I'm like, the whole house is going to be covered in bags. And then I have to put them in. I can't fit 1,000 bags full of stuff in my truck. I'm like, I have to rent a U-Haul to put all the. So now I realize I need to. It doesn't make any sense to stuff them here. I'm going to stuff them at the convention center Thursday afternoon. So if anyone is interested and available to help me stuff bags, catch me after the show. Message me Thursday afternoon, Fort Lauderdale Convention Center. I need help stuffing all these bags. All right. Okay. So you guys bear with me. As I said, 2 minutes before the show started, I was canceling the show because the camera didn't work, and also it started working. So I don't have my notes, not as prepped as usual, but it's no big deal. It'll still work out just fine. So I can see the chat's working, so that's cool. So the topic I wanted to discuss today is deep equalization. Okay, and this is something that a lot of people struggle with. I mean, people start with equalizing of all sorts of depths for all sorts of reasons. I talk about why people get stuck at 15, 30 foot all the time is because they don't know how to do Frenzel, and then I tell them to go get my Frenzel course, we'll fix that. But this other depth is a really common complaint. Okay, and so for those of you guys who are doing good, I see you guys are putting comments in there, put the questions in there, and I will answer those towards the end. I try to not interact with every question because then I get distracted, and for people watching, they're probably more interested in what I'm talking about than answering some questions. So I will do all that, but I do it at the end. So I try to not look at that, but I get very easily distracted. So as we just demonstrated. All right, so deep equalization. Okay, so when I consider someone who has deep equalization problems is someone who's they're comfortable equalizing their ears in the shallows, 15, 30, 40, 50 foot. They got no problem with that. They pinch their nose, they do Frenzel, the ears equalize, got no problem. I find in the intermediate course that I teach, it's when most of my students can max out the 66-foot course without having these issues. Occasionally I need to get into this, but most of the people max out the 66-foot course. They don't need to know about the stuff. I don't like to confuse them. They're already confused enough. They got so much stuff to think about. But it's the intermediate course. If I don't bring this up in the intermediate course, most all of my students are going to get stuck 80, 100 feet. And they're going to have the ability to go deeper. They're just like, Ted, I go to Frenzel and I just go to guys, it doesn't work anymore. Right? So a lot of people think that that's just as deep as they can dive. Right? So let's first go and figure out why that's happening. When we're descending down to depth, obviously we have to equalize our ears and we have to equalize our mask. And so every time we do that, in essence what's happening is we're taking air from our lungs and we're shoving it into our ears and our mask. Right? So we're constantly robbing air and having to shove it into these air spaces. Right? And what happens is when you're starting your dive, especially the first 60 feet, there's just air naturally in your mouth. You didn't think about it. I promise you, it's there. Because if you think about Frenzel, what does Frenzel do? Frenzel takes the air that's in our mouth and shoves it in our lungs, which is why we gotta not do Valsalva. Valsalva takes the air that's in our lungs and shoves it in our ears. Right? So Frenzel, you got the whole tongue thing, the tongue's a piston in your throat, all this, whatever, and you're taking the air that's in here and you're shoving it into your ears. Okay? So what's gonna happen to the supply of air in your mouth each time you equalize? Are you going to have more air in your mouth or less air in your mouth? Less, right? Because you're constantly making that air supply less because you're moving it from here to there. Not to mention, you got the pressure affecting us, and as we're descending down to depth, that little bit of air we have in here is getting smaller, 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 smaller. Absolutely, as the body gets compressed, right? Smaller, 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 right? So what happens is the average freediver, they're going down to 60 feet, they're boom, 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 they're doing their Frenzels and everything's good. All of a sudden they go, shit, doesn't work. Ted, Frenzel doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't work. Yes and no. The reason it quits working is because there's no more air in here. You shoved it all into here. So there's no more air left. So you go to Frenzel and you can Frenzel like a champ, you do it perfectly, it doesn't work. Okay, so we understand why. It's because the air is no longer in our mouth because we've pushed it all into our ears. So what happens is that first 60 foot, their air is naturally in here. You didn't have to do anything special to put it there. It just is there, and then you exhausted the supply. So now, if you want to equalize, you got to go get the air. You got to go take it from the lungs. You got to shove it into your mouth, and then you got to lock the throat off, and ta-da, now you've got air in your mouth. And when you do Frenzel, it's going to work. It's going to work because there's air in there. The reason it didn't work was because you had no fuel. You had no air in the mouth, right? So now you got to figure out how to get it from here to get it to here, right? And so the kind of traditional, kind of the best way that I know to do this is what we call the grouper call, right? So the grouper call is just a way to pull air from the lungs and shove it into the mouth, right? So first off, if you've ever taken a freediving class from me, and I see some of you guys in the chat, or probably I'm sure most other instructors do this, the grouper call is the sound my students just learn to hate, because anytime my students make a mistake, they get, that's me going, quit doing that, right? That's me hollering at them underwater. I can't really holler underwater, and I can't hit them underwater, but I can get their attention and go, and they know, they're like, God damn it, what does he want now, right? And so that's how I get their attention. So that is the grouper call. So listen to the sound. Right? So the way I joke about it, it's like the guy that walks into the club and he goes, that's the grouper call. You can clearly see that sucker is moving. Now, what we want, I'm going to want you guys to start, well actually first off, just see, let's just do this. Obviously I can't see what you're doing, but just see if you can do that. You can make that sound. You don't need to do that, but this, right? That's the grouper call. That's the little grouper call. That's the one most people can do pretty well. But we don't really need to do that one. We need to do the next level one, right? So the next one is a grouper call with the purpose of putting air in here, right? So watch what happens. So that grouper call, if you guys can do that, that's what I call the short one. Right? It's just as soon as you start, you stop. And then it's over. And it's over. And then it's over. So you're just doing short little ones. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the grouper call, but instead of stopping as soon as I start, I'm going to do it continuously. Right? So listen to what it sounds like and then look at what happens. Right? Clear as day, air is coming from my lungs, and where is it going? Right here. And you can see, right? Because my cheeks are filling, and it makes that sound. Okay? So that's what we want. That grouper call is, technically, it's creating a negative pressure, and it's pulling the air from the lungs into the mouth. All right, now, half of you think that you're doing it, and I'm going to tell you, unfortunately, you're not doing it right. Let me tell you what half of you guys are doing. Half of you are making this sound. Right? That sound is what I call humming out the nose. That's all that's happening. I'm humming out my nose. That's not a grouper call. That's just putting air up my lungs and it's coming out my nose. You make all these funny sounds, it's still humming, right? What I'm doing is I'm making the air from my lungs go into my mouth. Not. Now, the way you can tell for sure if you're doing it the right way or the wrong way is pinch the nose. I want you guys to watch. When I do it the correct way, when I pinch my nose, there's no change in sound. So listen when I do it the correct way, no change in sound. The sound doesn't change at all because the air is not coming out my nose. It's going into my mouth. It's happening. Right? If I do it the wrong way, I do the hum out the nose method. The sound changes when I pinch the nose because the sound can no longer come out the nose. Okay? So, ultimately what we want is we want to put air into our mouth. Ideally via the grouper call. The reason I say ideally the grouper call is because you can just push air in your mouth, but that's not going to really work so well at depth. because it's going to be harder to access this air. I know you can do it on dry land now, fine. Trust me, it's going to be more difficult as you get deeper. So the perfect way to do that is the grouper call. Now, here's the next issue. You saw my cheeks puff out, right? Do not, when we do grouper calls, we do not want to do that, right? So here's a pet peeve of mine. It drives me insane, right? Thanks to the wonderful world of the internet, you as the beginning to intermediate freediver, and I call it, 80, 100 foot freediver, let's classify them as intermediate freediver, right? You as an intermediate freediver can get on the internet and you can find out stuff that you have no business messing with, right? I mean, you can obviously look for whatever you want, but what I'm getting at is these people that are struggling to equalize their ears at 60 feet, and they get online, and all of a sudden they're in the forums, they're watching YouTube videos of, William Trubridge and Alexi and all these people talking about the mouth fill. You have to puff your cheeks out, and that's what all the competitive freedivers do, and they use it to dive to 300, 400 feet, so that's what I'm going to do. No. Are you a 400-foot diver? Nope. Then you don't need to be doing what 400-foot divers do, right? But here's the thing about the way our society is. If you saw two articles, and one of them was, learn the way Ted Hart, or not me, someone you never heard of, learn the way Billy Bob teaches freedivers to equalize their ears to 80 feet, or you could read this other article, learn how William Trubridge equalizes and allows him to equalize to 400 feet. Which one are you going to click on? Look, I want to do the one to 400 feet, because that sounds like the better way. But you're not a 400-foot freediver, right? So what I'm trying to get at is people don't understand that different techniques, just because a technique allows people to dive better, if you're not at that level, that technique isn't right for you. So when we're doing grouper calls, if you've heard about mouth fills, you know how to do mouth fill, you ain't got nothing you don't need to fool with mouth fill, right? You're going to do a small grouper call where your jaw drops and your cheeks are not puffed. So what I teach my intermediate students to do is a grouper call like this. Right? And that puts some air in my mouth for sure, right? It doesn't put that much air in my mouth. Don't need to do that if you're a 400-foot diver, then yeah, we might need to do that, but you're not, right? So you're just going to drop the jaw, and you're going to put your tongue on the bottom. Okay, so let's try this. There's going to be a difference in equalization here. Also, for those of you that are here, the chat seems to be working pretty well. So if you have questions that you'd like me to answer, let's go ahead and put those in, because I didn't prep for the show. I just had this one topic. It's a good one. But then when I'm done, basically, I'm just going to be answering your questions and calling it a day. So if you got questions, start thinking about that, put them in there as I go through this explanation. All right, so let's do a quick test. I want you to understand something very different about this grouper calling business. All right, I want you to equalize your ears now, the way that you do normally. All right, do a normal Frenzel. Hopefully we're doing Frenzel. I'm not going to get into the whole Frenzel Valsalva thing right now. But equalize the way you normally do. I would imagine 80% of you, when you do that, you feel your tongue is behind your teeth. 20% of you are going to say that you feel your tongue kind of on the roof of your mouth. Right? Depending on how you're doing. There's either the T block or the K block, but whatever. But notice how you do that. Your tongue's either on your teeth or the middle of your tongue's on the top of your mouth. Now, I want you to do a grouper call where you're going to drop your jaw and put your tongue on the bottom. Now equalize your ears. So first off, can you equalize your ears? Hopefully the answer is yes. You should be able to. But your tongue is in a completely different position, isn't it? Because I said it has to be on the bottom. So it can't be behind your teeth. And it can't be on the roof of the mouth, right? It's all the way on the bottom. Right? And so the way that you're equalizing, without getting super technical, is the back of your tongue. The back of your tongue is on the throat and is doing it that way. So here's what you need to do. When you're free diving and you know you're going to be diving deep, now every one of you has a depth where Frenzel doesn't work anymore. Maybe it's 60 foot, maybe it's 100 foot, maybe you're like Nate here is one of my students who's super flexible. He can probably do it 130 feet and not have to do this. All depends. Someone just asked what depth, so that's what I'm about to get at. So, my general recommendation is 60 foot. Right? At 60 foot, take that grouper call. Right? But it's also, you know you better. If you struggle at 50 feet, then obviously don't wait till 60, do it beforehand. But for most people, it's going to be 80, 100 foot when it starts getting tricky. So at that point, you're going to do that grouper call, put your tongue on the bottom. And at that point, as soon as you got that thing full of air, you're going to shut the throat. Boom, boom, boom. And use that air to equalize, right? And you're probably not going to be going a crazy amount deeper, right? So just that little bit should be able to get you to, get you to 100 foot, right? No problem. Maybe a little bit deeper. 140 meters, sure, no problem. You can just do one mouth fill like that, and then boom, 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 boom. Work on that equalization the way down. Okay? So, in essence, you got to go get the air, and then you got to lock the throat off, because at that point, you shouldn't, once you've got the air in your mouth, you're just going to keep using that until it's all done, and then that's it. Then you got to go up. Or you got to use even more advanced strategies, but I would imagine the folks watching this, that's going to be all you gonna need. All right, so that is deep equalization. That is basically when I teach my intermediate. Does it work beyond 100? Yeah, that'll work. That'll work to 40 meters, 50 meters, right? 40, 50 meter range, right? And if you want to get deeper than that, then you got to start doing other stuff, right? But most of my folks are way deeper than they need to go. Let's put it this way, Esteban. That's what I teach in my intermediate class, and that gets people to 40 meters. So I never really have to go in depth any more than that. But also, just because I say it, I mean, you understand it intellectually how to do it. That doesn't mean that you're going to snap immediately do it. It takes a little bit of practice. But as far as technique-wise, the technique that I just gave you, well, it gets all my students to 40 meters, and so that's what I know. All right, so got questions in here. I'm going to start going through those questions in a little bit. I'm excited because for Blue Wild, I'm going to be announcing a new course. It's going to be my Breath Hold Secrets course. And so basically what it is it's a section of, so the 28-day freediving program is one of my most popular programs I have right now. It goes over the 5 best dive dry training exercises you can do at home, right? I've had it online for maybe a month and a half, 2 months now. People are doubling their breath hold. They're feeling more comfortable at depths when they go spearfishing. It's a really cool program. It's got 3, you do 3 separate breath holding exercises per week, right? So 2 of them are terrible. You're not going to like them. 1 of them is actually easy on purpose. And then the other 2 days, you said do 5 minutes worth of stretching, right? So I lay out an entire program for 28 days. And once you purchase the program, you can get access to them forever. And there's a private Facebook group where all the students are writing their daily workouts and they're talking to each other. I'm obviously helping them with questions. You get access to Noob Spiro's 99 Tips. Which is the ebook on 99 spearfishing tips, which is really cool. So I actually pay them every time someone buys that, so you can get that for free. This is a really cool resource. There's an interview with Jeremy Gamble from Spearing Magazine. So there's a lot of cool stuff involved in the program. So this Breath Hold Secrets portion course is, I pulled out one of the sections from that program, and it's just Breath Hold Secrets, right? So Breath Hold Secrets goes over how to take a bigger breath. It goes over the one secret that everyone uses to hold their breath longer. Because if you take a class from ADA, from PFI, Apnea Academy, me, whoever it is, we all teach, in essence, the same thing, which allows people to hold their breath forever, right? I mean, like, everyone takes one of those freediving courses, I don't care what it is, and they're like, holy crap, I doubled my breath. I held my breath for 4 minutes. I held my breath for 3 minutes, right? Because there's one basic secret that they all use in common, right? So it's that, and then I've got one of the 5 training regimens, right? So the reason I did it is it's a lot of people that purchase the 28-day program, they know me. A lot of them are past students of mine, or you guys, I got people that have been following me, know who I am for years. So when they saw that program, they're like, sweet, I'm jumping on that. I'm getting a lot of people that are looking at this stuff. They have no idea who I am. They've never seen me. They don't know who the hell Immersion Freediving is. I'm like, I don't know, that thing's going to work, and it's expensive. So I wanted to take, like, basically a part of that program at a much, easier price point, and give them, see what it's like, right? So they get a chance to see what this whole online learning thing is like that I provide. They get a chance to see if they like me, and if they like me, there's plenty more stuff that I can offer. So that's the idea on that. So I'm probably going to put that around $39, and I'll have that up before Blue Wild. So I'm excited about that. All right, so let's see if we can go through some questions. Larry Bay, deepest without Frenzel 48, deepest with Frenzel 70. Yeah, Frenzel makes a big damn difference. So the grouper call and reverse packing and mouth fill are kind of different things, Larry. The grouper call, grouper call, as far as deep diving, is used to take air and shove it into the mouth. That is very similar to reverse packing. Reverse packing is typically used as a training aid to remove air from the lungs. There's a variety of reasons that freedivers want to remove air from our lungs. Is mostly from a training standpoint, and that has gone into in-depth reverse packing, how we use that for training in the 28-day program. Let's see. How far should you be? Nathan, a past student of mine. Badass freediver, 70-meter guy, police officer, super cool guy. He's been doing a lot of training. He actually just signed up for the 28-day program. So it's fun that I get to torture him from afar. All right, let's see. What is this question? How far should you be diving without the need for a grouper call? So Nate, that's going to be like, you're at a completely different level than most of these people are because you do all the training. So that answer for you is going to be different than most folks, right? I mean, all I know is most folks in my intermediate class at 80 foot, they need to do a grouper call, or at 100 foot. That's what the average person is. Now, if you were to go through all the training in the 28-day program and do all the things that I recommend, you can do that much deeper, right? You can go much deeper than that, right? Like when I'm teaching an intermediate class, I don't ever need a grouper call. I grouper call at them when they're doing things wrong, but I don't need to pull up air just because I have the flexibility to do that. So it all just depends, Nate. Does it work past 30 meters, 100 feet? Yeah, right? Carrie Gibson, unrelated, Wonka Tables. If I do breath holds, it affects my run. So I'll be completely honest, Carrie, I don't know the mechanism on why that it does. It doesn't surprise me in any way because these breath hold tables, and I know the way you do them, which means you do them till they hurt a lot. They totally stress the body out. They totally stress the body out, which is why, I always say in training that, a lot of you guys are super active, especially if you sign up for the 20-day program and you have all these workouts that you're doing for me, is you really want to try those 3 breath hold workouts, days that I give you, you don't really want to do anything else because, as you see, it's going to affect you. I just had a guy call me on the phone. He went through the 28-day program and he was saying that it wasn't working. He was going backwards. His breath holds were getting worse. And so I said, all right, well, so call me. I pretty much knew exactly what was happening. And I was right. He was, he was overtraining. He was doing the breath holds, 5 days a week, right? Which makes you're not going to do well. And he was also doing his other workouts like during the day and then coming home and doing the breath hold workouts, which again, it's too stressful and straining. I'll be honest here. I don't know the mechanism of why that's happening. I just know that it does. Bob Fanook. Excellent. I'm glad that you're enjoying the program. So Bob's a freediving instructor and he's going through the 28-day program. So that's going to help him for sure. Yes, I'm the barbecue guy. Steven, so the best to buy the original program now to get more bang from your buck. Yeah, so the idea is, and also that the breath hold, the 28-day program is going to be going up to $150 at the Blue Wild. So right before that, so I'll be raising the price. So the 28-day program right now is $95. So and it includes breath hold secrets. All right. Justin, Paul Brown. Great to see you doing well for yourself. Long way from diving at Tilden's. Holy cow, right? I loved working at Tilden's. That was awesome. That was so much fun. That was my introduction to being an instructor. That was the first time I'd ever been an instructor for anything. But I loved it. I worked in the Keys, was great. The dive shop was great. I was super lucky. I worked at a really busy dive shop. It really served me extremely well because that dive shop was so busy. I got to teach a lot. So I was very active as an instructor. So the 3 years that I was a scuba instructor, 3 years as a scuba instructor, it's not an incredibly long time. It's not a short time, whatever, 3 years. But it was a very busy 3 years for me, and then I was teaching classes constantly, and that served me very well. And when I transitioned into teaching freediving, because I had an advantage when I started teaching freediving. I already had a solid background as a scuba instructor, and that definitely helped. I mean, we definitely see, if you, at least from PFI's experience, you look at the best PFI instructors. Most, it does not say all of them, but I'll put it this way: a lot of our best instructors were scuba instructors beforehand, because it helps with that experience. Negative statics. I don't really have any tips either. It's another way to train. I don't do a lot of them. Not because there's anything wrong with them. I just don't do a lot of them. I mean, the advantage of them is that it gets to the bad part really quick from a time efficiency standpoint. Um, but yeah, so I'll be honest. I don't really have any tips for negative statuses. I haven't done that many. I mean, I used to. It was years and years ago. I used to fool around with them. And I think it's nice because it's another ways of doing the training, right? So I mean, I think the varying it is the same as opposed to always doing the same thing over and over again. But the short answer is no. I don't really have any tips for doing negative statics. Let's see. I mean, they're interesting. They're interesting how difficult they get early when, from an oxygen standpoint, it really should. Like if you do a negative static and put yourself on the pulse oximeter, right? Your oxygen level is going to be normal for quite a long a time, but at least for me. And then I feel uncomfortable, even though my oxygen level's fine, my CO2 level's fine. But they are good training. All right, so if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to wrap this puppy up. I think I'm getting all the questions. Yeah, so Carrie, you do the diaphragm stretches every day, so you don't need a group call for a long time. That's the whole point, right? That's one of the reasons I teach all this stuff. Is it works. So that's cool. That's cool that you see that benefit. All right, so I'm going to start winding this thing down. I'm going to be doing, so today's Tuesday, so tomorrow will be the last one that I'll be doing, Wednesday. And then I'm like in crazy madness in preparation for the Blue Wild. Getting the whole bags, and I've got the postcards. I got to pick them up, and I got a lot of stuff going on. So I don't have time to do the Freedive Live on Thursday. So I'll be doing it Wednesday, and then I'll be taking a break, and then I'll start back next week. And I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to be doing a Monday through Wednesday or Monday through Thursday. I'm probably going to commit to Monday through Wednesday, and then use Thursdays as a bonus day if I want, and then maybe not do one. But I'm still getting it all sorted out. Some good things that I'm working on is the technology is getting a little better, but as I said earlier, this whole show is pushing beyond my understanding to do stuff. So for you guys that are like watching these now, like just bear with me and understand that at some point I'm gonna have all this sorted. And you're gonna laugh about how when I started I didn't know what I was doing, but it's cool. I'm learning a lot. I'm going to start, and I really want to. I've just got a couple more technical hurdles to sort through. I want to be able to do interviews, right? So I want to be able to do interviews on the show. It's just complicated because I'm doing it through this third-party thing, and it's not a Facebook Live because it broadcasts to so many channels. I can't do it that way. But I think I'm going to use Zoom, and so hopefully I'll be doing that next week. I know one of the first people I want to interview is Jeremy Gamble in Orange Period Magazine. I don't know if he's still here or not, but I definitely want to get him on the show. And I got a lot of people I want to get on the show that I've already talked to and are interested. So that's cool. So I definitely think in a perfect world, I'll do a mix of stuff like this and in interviews, right? I don't want to do exclusively interviews, and I don't want to do exclusively this, right? So I think I'll probably do 50-50. But, again, I'll figure it out. Now, what I'm going to tell you guys is, for those of you that are still watching, if you're still watching, you must like the show, and I'm glad you do. What I always do is when the show is done, if you were to go where this thing is posted on like Facebook, it just says Freedive Live episode 13. That's all it says. right? After the show is done and I stop streaming all this, it takes about 5-10 minutes for me to go in and put the post in. So that links to stuff that I'm talking about. And then one of the links I'm talking about right now is the I've got a survey, and I'm getting more and more people to fill out that survey, and I really appreciate it. So the survey is for what do you people want from the show? Cool, Jerry. What do you people want from the show? So it just got a couple bit, because, if you've tuned into the show before, you always hear me ask things like, where are you from? Are you a free diver? Are you a spear fisherman? And, because I'm trying to find out who my audience is, and stuff scrolls by, and I can't it's, that's not data. That's just me being like, oh, that guy's from Ohio, and he's a spear fisherman. They're like, I don't know who you guys are. And so the survey will, just say, like, are you a free diver? Are you a spear fisherman? A mix? Where are you from? Have you taken a free diving course? You haven't taken a free diving course? And then I'm asking you, what's your favorite part of the show? Is it the stories? Is it the Q&A? Is it the educational topics? And then I've got a couple, open-ended questions where I'm asking you, what do you want out of the show? I do the show for you, not for me, right? So, I think I know what you guys want, but if you guys are all going on there saying, I want this, and 80% of the people say they want something, and I'm not doing it, well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to change what I'm doing, and so it's for you guys. So if you guys can, so here's the pitch I'll give you. If you can take the time to do that, one, I really appreciate it, and I try to bribe you a little bit. If you live in the United States and you fill out the survey, I'm going to send you free diving safety stickers. So I've got a virtual assistant. I am terrible at mailing stuff. I cannot. It's like the worst thing ever. And I had this whole program. My virtual assistant was going to send me an Excel. She was going to pull all the addresses from the form, and then she was going to put it in an Excel file so I could then make my label printer, press the button, and they would all come out, and then I would just stick them on the envelopes and send them. And my virtual assistant was like, well, that sounds like a lot of work. Why don't you just mail me all the stickers and the postcards, and mail me all the stickers and mail me some stamps so it doesn't cost me any money. I'll just ship them for you myself. I'm like, yeah. All right, so next week she'll have all that stuff after the Blue Wild's over, so then I don't have to do it. So then when you actually sign up, like once a week, they'll be going out. Like I've got a backlog of like 3 weeks of stickers I'm supposed to mail out, and I just get busy and I just don't do it. So it'll be very awesome. So if you guys that live in the United States and you fill that out as of next week, once my VA gets all that stuff, you're going to get the stickers mailed right to you. So that's it. The last thing I'll tell you is if you stuck through all this and you enjoy the show, there's one single thing you can do to, the biggest thing you can do to help support the show is share it. If you're on Twitter, you retweet. If you're on Facebook, share it wherever you are. And here's all it asks, especially for Facebook. Right? If you hit the share button, don't get me wrong, that is awesome. But when you hit the share button, especially on Facebook, all of your friends see that, and your friends have no idea who the hell I am. They just see some guy going blah, 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 with a lot of immersion freediving logos all over the place. 1, 2, 4. But they don't know who I am, right? So if you share it, and then just take the time to write, like, hey guys, like this show is awesome, you should check it out, right? It's Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Because they don't know me, they know you. And if they care about what you say, and if you say that this show is worthwhile or a freediver, then they're going to tune in. All right, so that is the single best thing you can do is share information about the show. So that's it. I'll be back Wednesday, 7 p.m. I hope to see you guys next week. I hope to see some of you guys at the Blue Wild, right? I'll be there. I'll be doing a presentation on Sunday. I'll be at the booth. Come by, say hello, tell me that you watched the show. And that's it. So dive safe out there. And like I always say, it's not even that hard, especially considering there's freedivingsafety.com where you can learn to not kill yourself for free. All right, so see you guys next week.